Welcome back to America Decides. Today marks 3 years since the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. The Taliban marched straight into the capital of Kabul and has been in control of the country ever since. Ambassador Nasir Andisha joins us now. He's a former deputy foreign minister of Afghanistan from 2015 to 2019. Ambassador, thank you so much for being with us. Tell us, in your view, what is the situation in Afghanistan right now, 3 years after the withdrawal?
Well, thank you very much. The situation in Afghanistan has worsened rapidly since the withdrawal of US and NATO forces and the military takeover of the country by the Taliban in all areas. Economically now, 50% of the population are living below poverty. The economy has contracted over 25 to 30%. In terms of the human rights and liberties, Afghanistan is now in the bottom of the United Nations list. Women are facing a situation which the UN Special Rapporteur called it gender apartheid, basically, where they are segregated completely and there is systematic repression and systematic discrimination against them. They can't work, they can't study beyond the sex standards in schools. This whole merit of terrorist organization, including Al-Qaeda and ISIL and IMU, you just name it, the whole alphabet soup of terrorist organizations are living somehow under the ecosystem which Taliban has provided for them. And 1/4 of the country has actually left. According to the recent IOM reports data, 8 million Afghans have left the country. Majority of whom are living in the neighborhood, but almost 1 million has reached as far as the United States.
You paint a really grim picture. It's understandable. Recently, you wrote the country was abandoned like an orphan, and you say that Afghanistan has basically been pulled back into the dark ages. At this point, what, if anything, can the global community, should the global community do, particularly when it comes to the rights of women and girls in Afghanistan?
I think what the international community can do is they have to, after 3 years, stop the blame game. I know there is enough blame to go around in the case of Afghanistan. That who caused the failure? Was it the Republican, under Trump, who signed the deal with the Taliban and somehow legitimized them over, a democratically elected government, or it was, the Biden administration which pulled the plug and irresponsibly, executed that withdrawal without, looking after the consequences of this. And the regional countries, countries around Afghanistan, China, Iran, Russia, Pakistan, and the others, they are blaming the West and NATO altogether. And in the middle, the people of Afghanistan, of course, the leaders of the Afghan Republic also are to be blamed because of, they couldn't put the acts together. But in the middle, the people of Afghanistan are completely confused because they were working on the past 20 years with a hope of, a progressive and prosperous Afghanistan where people have their basic rights, where, the economy will move, where they could be part of, a world community. So now they feel abandoned, not only abandoned, but also blamed for the situation right now. I think this is time that hopefully, with the election in the United States and also with some of the changes, in the region, that the world could put the acts together and they can deal with the Taliban, which is, part of it is a designated terrorist group. And now their regime is a regime of gender apartheid in the way they deserve. Right now, everybody is appeasing Taliban, unfortunately.
Is there any threat to the Taliban when it comes to ruling that country for years to come?
Oh, certainly, definitely. Taliban are like any other autocratic regime around the world, and they're very fragile. It's a very small group of fanatics and religious extremists. Doesn't make even 1% of the country altogether, in terms of their own networks and networks of extremists. And so the way that they control the country is, one is that, they are being left with all these military equipments, which billions worth of equipment. The second thing is, they are cohesive enough because they were cohesive in their fights, which part of their fight was, suicide bombing. and going to extreme, but also they had some sort of logistical safe havens and military support within the countries in the region. But now that's supplemented with the whole support which comes from different parts of the world, including the United States. So somehow their lifelines, economic lifelines, are coming from outside, and their religious support is coming from the region. So they don't have very strong roots in the country the way we saw after 9/11. It was people of Afghanistan themselves what chased them out. So like any other dictatorship around the world, they're very fragile, even more fragile because they don't have an economy like the other countries who can bank on their own domestic resources. But it's the confusion, it's sort of a race to bottom between regional countries and the international community, Western countries, that they are thriving. It's the confusion, it's the indifference of the world toward them that they are consolidating.
Right, the attention of Western countries diverted to other conflicts like Ukraine and the Middle East. Ambassador Nasir, Andisha, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good to be with you.